Howdy folks, and welcome back to making a Fakemon region. Well, more specifically, making Tetramon, our original version of Fakemon, all somehow related to this channel. From the earliest videos, to the friends I made, to the games I played, and the friends who appeared on the channel. We tetrify all of that into fictional creatures, and hopefully one day we'll be able to put them in an actual game. This is the final episode of this little romp, so if you want to watch the previous 4, be my guest. And if not, then we'll jump into our next design. Now, this being the final episode, I am planning on doing some legendaries, mythical, pseudo-legendary, all that jazz you typically see in Fakemon series. However, because each episode only has 6 designs in them, I couldn't really fit this guy anywhere else, so here it is. As I've said, I've made Tetramon based off certain games I've played or covered on this channel. Don't Starve, Pikmin, Dicey Dungeons, Binding of Isaac, you know. However, there's one game I was kind of hesitant to make a Tetramon out of, and if you know this channel, you'll know that I'm referring to Ebe. One of, if not, my most favourite game of all time. Not only is it one of my favourite games of all time, the video I made on it is also one of the proudest I've ever made. It was a video essay really diving deep into what I loved about the game and what made it a good game in general. I didn't expect it to get very popular because, again, it was nothing like any other video I made. However, you know, the small amount of people who did watch it seemed to like it, which is, you know, really nice. Ebe is a story-based game, so I don't want to delve too deep into the inspiration about this design because it'll probably spoil a few things about the game. However, if you know the story of Ebe, I'm sure you're already kind of picking up on the vibe it's meant to be giving out. This is meant to be the equivalent of a pseudo-wudo, right? Where, like, in-game it just appears as a stationary object until you do something and all of a sudden, oh no, it's alive and it's a monster and you can catch it. And again, also similar to pseudo-wudo, this isn't actually a rose or a plant or whatever it's meant to look like. It's meant to specifically be a fake rose. This part isn't a spoiler for Ebe, but your life is measured by a rose. I believe it's meant to be the embodiment of your soul. And also not really a spoiler, but a big point of Ebe is paintings coming to life and attacking you. So I like the idea that it's a sentient blob of paint what just constructed to choose this form. I kind of like the idea that although it looks humanoid, that's more coincidental. It's formed itself to look like a rose. Like, her front hair is meant to be like the petals and the back hair is meant to represent roots. And her actual head is meant to be, you know, like the flower, the main center bit of the flower. Does that have a name? I'm sure you know what I mean either way. So, like, every humanoid part of this design is meant to be coincidental. It's more just trying to look like a flower, well, a rose creature. There is a little bit of Scarecrow, you know, thrown in there just because, again, Scarecrow is a fake human made out of, well, hay, you know, made out of plants, so that seemed to fit the theme here. And again, long-term channel fans will recognise some similar vibes to another creature I made on this channel a while ago, Fakemon. Oh yeah, who remembers this monstrosity? I know I do. I can't get out of my head. Ignoring the horrifying face it has, Fakemon is a shapeshifter, so, you know, it creates itself to look like a fake creature, which, again, seemed to fit the theme of this paint blob being a fake flower. I know I said I wanted to base it off Ebe, but it's also halfly inspired by another video I made, Tui and the In-Between. Another video I'm really proud of, but we'll more focus on that in the next design. For now, here you have Rosa. I guess for the last time, I'll mention that most of these names were made very last minute, so if you think you can think of anything better, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Rosa is quite a fun name though, because it's a mix between Imposter, Mary, which is the character from Ebe, Rosa, the scientific name for, you know, rose, and the whole name sounds like, you know, Rosa, I'm a rose. You know, I thought that was kind of clever. Poison type, obviously, because it's made out of pain. Can't imagine there being a second type. I hope you like it, and now we can jump onto the main theme of the episode, the legendaries, the end of the decks. But first, we need to tackle the pseudo-legendary. And just like Rosa was inspired by 2 of my most proudest videos, the pseudo-legendary shall be as well. So, Tui in the In-Between. A very experimental video, but one I'm still extremely proud of. In fact, by the time this video's out, I believe the video would be 2 years old? Which is crazy because it feels like so much longer. It was exclusively story-based. There was no drawing or anything. It was just characters being in situations. Effectively, a short movie based on the characters what were on this channel. And just like the Ebe video, even though it was nothing like my other videos, it did surprisingly well. I honestly expected no one to see it, but all the comments were extremely nice. Most of them got their own Tetramon, and well, that's why, you know, supporting me no matter what I do, and I really appreciate that. It was also kind of a story based on some of my own struggles I had as a child, so being able to kind of reproduce that in a fictional story with, you know, a character to have a moral from that kind of felt nice. And whether people understood that or not, I did try to keep it as vague as I could, but whether they did get it, the fact that they were at least entertained and enjoying themselves watching it was really nice. I don't know if I'll ever make a video like that again, at least on on this channel, just because again, it doesn't suit it, and you know, YouTube doesn't really like different videos on the same channel. And again, even though, because realistically the quality of it was quite terrible, I can at least sit and say, I did it. I did what I wanted to do. And again, if you're a long-time viewer and you know that video, again, sincerely, thank you for watching that. It really means a lot. And one of the characters, well, villains, what appeared in that video was Horse Leech. A terrifying creature thing. I can't explain the thought process when I made him. It literally was just, in my head I was thinking like, what's a creepy creature? And my mind just thought of a horse on a giant leech's body, and I was like, oh yeah, no, that is horrifying. I don't even think it was a horse's head now that I think about it. It might have just been a gas mask what just looked like a horse's head, you know? Either way, if I had to make a design based off of Tui and the In-Between, making something based off the Horse Leech kind of seemed fitting. Plus, you know, a pseudo-legendary is going to evolve into something much more powerful. Again, a Horse Leech I imagined would fit that role. And where do leeches live? In the water. And if I'm basing it also off my other video, the Eve video, you know, paint, watercolors, you know, it worked. So an actual underwater Horse Leech thing. To talk about the creature itself, I like the idea that, again, because this is meant to be a more friendlier design, it's not a horror creature, it's just inspired by one. This creature is a rather gentle creature, what swims around, you know, like coral beaches. The idea is that its parents lay its eggs in the coral and it spends its first few years growing inside the coral, even to the point that when the body grows too big to be in the coral, it just keeps its head inside the coral and then keeps it on its head like a little mask. I thought that'd be kind of a cute idea, and again, kind of the exact opposite of what the actual Horse Leech is. This is Coralie, a mix between coral, horse, and call, you know, like colour, and Lee, because, you know, it's a cute little sea thing. It being a water horse, I guess, I did also put a little bit of kelpie inspiration in there. I guess it would just be a pure water, maybe water rock because of the coral. I assume as it evolves, it would still keep the, you know, horse mask, so maybe water rock? I'm not entirely sure. But either way, now let's move on to our first pair of legendaries. Ooh, exciting. This is the first legendary I've ever drawn on this channel, so cool. Redface and Greenface. Two characters, what, just like Tui and Saziri in the previous episodes, have appeared in the channel from time to time. And, you know, being some of the main characters on this channel, it only seemed fitting to base the pair of legendaries on the pair of these two characters. Now, to break the fourth wall a little bit, Redface and Greenface are just that, they're characters. They do have backstory. I keep mentioning Tui in the In-Between, but a big part of that was to kind of explain a little bit of Tui's backstory. He's not just a character who appears only in these videos, he has lore. You only see him like 20 minutes in a video, but he's had an entire lifespan before that. It's kind of interesting because we've all just kind of watched these and accepted the fact that, oh, Syl is the main character, and these characters are Syl from different universes. Sure. But I've not actually really had any comments asking like, wait, what actually happened to Tui to make him this and not just a regular Syl? You know, what made Redface Redface? Why isn't he just a Syl? What happened to him? And although I'm not going to just lore dump in this video, because these two are legendary creatures, I think it's only fair to share the in-universe legend of how these two creatures came to be. This isn't literally Redface and Greenface's backstory, but it's inspired by it, so one day when I do actually, reveal their story, you can hopefully see the similarities. But either way,
a long, long time ago was a volcanic island in the middle of an ocean.
That's a stupid voice, I'm gonna stop doing that. On that volcanic island lived, would you believe it, a volcanic creature. He lived near the base of the volcano, and every time he went to get water to drink, he kept meeting the sea creature. Despite the opposing types, they both were enamored by each other. It was love at first sight. And every day, whenever the fire creature would go to fetch water, it would stay for hours just playing with the sea creature. Despite the boundaries between them, they felt like their love was true. It hurt them every day to part, yet every day they had to. It wasn't until one rainy day where the sea creature had an idea. Perhaps the rain would allow her to jump onto the fiery island. The rain would keep her cool and not overheat. She leaped out of the ocean onto the island, and she was quickly proven wrong. The blazing heat of the island quickly snatched onto her skin, and she was quickly burning up. By the time the fire creature found her, she was just clinging onto life. The fire creature picked her up and without hesitating threw both of them in the ocean in an attempt to save her. The rain grew worse and worse until a storm started to brew above the two. Lightning pierced out of the sky directly onto the sea creature, imbuing her with legendary power. As she was admiring her new form, she quickly remembered why she was in the ocean in the first place. She quickly darted around in search for the one who saved her, and she found him. It was too late though. Throwing himself into the ocean, he drowned. The now legendary creature wept for her lost love. tears strucken down her face as she cried in agony, her voice summoning another lightning bolt straight onto the fire creature in her arms. The lightning caused the creature to explode into flames, and out of the flames flew up a phoenix. The fire creature was given new life, but that's just the problem. New life. It had no recollection of the old life. It flew into the sky, having no idea of its previous love. The sea creature started to sing once more, however, and almost out of instinct, despite having no memory, it enjoyed the sea creature's hymns. And to this day, some people can say that if you stand just close enough by the ocean, you can hear a beautiful mermaid singing, and in the sky, you can see a lost phoenix flying around her. Well, I don't think I've done that on the channel before. I hope you liked that. Like I said, these were the first times I ever drew legendary Fakemon on the channel, and really in general. It was kind of weird for me to determine, what makes a legendary a legendary. I guess the idea is, trying to add more details when normally I would say that's enough and make it look more, powerful. It's weird. I'm kind of happy with how they ended up though. This is Ocean, the legendary mermaid whose tears can summon thunderstorms. And Scoruptix, the legendary phoenix. Again, names, I tried to make them sound more legendary and not just, regular names I would give to the other Tetramon. Ocean being a mix of verdant, meaning green, ocean, and devotion, because she'll always love the phoenix, even though the phoenix doesn't remember her. While Scoruptix is a mix of scorch, corrupt, and phoenix. Again, I like the theme that Ocean is very themed about love hearts and, again, her name, Devotion. The design is very defined. She's clearly, lightning bolt adjacent, love heart adjacent, and a mermaid. While Scoruptix, because he is corrupted and he has no prior memory, he's very undefined. His flames and his wings and tail are very loose. Yes, it's a bird, but it's a very scraggly bird. His neck is very awkward looking, its legs appear lanky, and his beak appears crooked. And just like Ocean, I do like the idea that there is a few love heart imagery in his design. However, it's a lot less obvious because it's lost that memory of its old love. Like the flames on its body and head. I'm sure you noticed the speed draw, but I actually struggled a lot drawing Scoruptix. I think it was just the flame and the body type I really struggled with, but I would say all in all, it ended up pretty well. And hey, now that we're, slightly over halfway through the video, I guess I'll do the regular plug. I've said it several times now, but if this series gets a collective 2,000 views and 100 likes, I will turn it into a game. So if you want to see it into a game, like it and share it so we can hit that goal. If you don't, again, that's fine. But either way, now let's jump onto what I would consider the main legendary of Tetramon. Instead of a pair of legendaries, I wanted there to just be one main one. Kind of revisit that idea of Mewtwo just being the main, strongest Pokemon and how important it is that if you've captured him, wow, you really are the best. You've captured literally the world's most powerful Pokemon. I've mentioned it in previous videos, but a big part of this story is rather space travel or multiverse travel. And this monster is what happens when you delve too far into the multiverse. They find this creature and it wants to destroy the Earth. It's your job as the main character to capture this monster, to literally save the Earth. It's the most powerful creature, and even being on this Earth is literally disintegrating its anatomy, yet it's still staying here purely because it wants to destroy. It hates life. This isn't a legendary you just get because the story grants you it. This is a legendary you get because you earn it through the adventure you've been on, and now is your chance to prove your worth. Tame the untamable. I guess its blood is actually gas, so its body is tearing open and a bunch of gaseous goop is spewing out of it. It can use this spacious goop to infiltrate people's minds and give them terrible nightmares. It can invade your mind and literally attack you in your sleep, which now that I said that out loud, it's basically Freddy Krueger. I'm sure you'll notice as I'm drawing it, but I like the idea that both of its arms aren't actually physically attached to its body. It just opens up portals on its shoulder blades what arms just kind of spew out of. Again, a very nightmarish thing, I imagine. So, what's the inspiration for this one? It's not specifically a video, but more a concept. The concept of the future. I don't know about you, but I find the future scary. The thought of not knowing what's around the bend, the idea of whenever you close your eyes, you might not get to open them again. That is scary. The unknown, not knowing what's going to happen, the lack of control. And the worst thing about the future, no matter how far you run away, the future always happens. Every time you're scared of the future, when you get to that point, oh look, there's more future to be afraid of, more unknowingness, more uncertainties. It keeps me awake at night, not knowing what the future's gonna hold. Don't get me wrong, it can be exciting sometimes, but I think as a whole, to me at least, the future frightens me. And also the future of this channel specifically. I'll kind of go a bit deeper into it at the end of the video. But in simple, I'm not entirely sure I'm happy with the way the future is heading for this channel. When making this design, I didn't want to just inspire it by the future, but more so specifically the future of this channel. I'm sure you'll recall that I've mentioned several characters, Saziri, Tui, and Redface. These aren't just characters what pop in for the occasional laugh, I want to specifically tell a story on this YouTube channel. This design was in reference to what I had planned to tell. However, the more I kept going with it, the more I kind of kept realizing, how close am I to telling this future? It kind of made me realize that this time about 2 years ago, I was still kind of getting ready for the same future that I'm now writing now. In the span of about 2 years, I've not really moved forward in what I've wanted to do on this channel. And that's what kind of turned this design not into just the future in general, but what I fear in the future for this channel. The fear of this story, these characters, these designs, not going anywhere. I'm sure you've noticed, but I've been talking about a bunch of my older videos and things, and realistically, I can't imagine many of you, if any, have actually watched all of those videos that I've mentioned. Which is fine, obviously that's not your fault, that's mine for not making them, watchable. It just makes me a little bit worried, because what if I'm celebrating my 8-year channel anniversary, heck 10-year anniversary, and I'm still just talking about videos where only 10 people have watched them? That scares me. It scares me that these characters, these designs that I really do care about, but that's it. I'm the only one who does. They don't matter. A future where these just stay just that, drawings, that they don't come alive, so to speak. That's a future what scares me, and that's the future what I want this design to show. This is Dreamin', a dream demon. And if you ever, you think you can fight him, dream on. He's a being what knows only to destroy and to, remove life, remove Tetramon, remove everything, make them unknown. But either way, Dreamin' would probably be, psychic and dark, maybe? I think if he did, though, he would be the only dark type, so that would kind of make dark type mute anyway, so maybe just pure psychic. Who knows? And now on to our final design this series, the Mythical. Again, I kind of wanted to do a Mew situation, only in the sense that, the main legendary has beef with the Mythical, not so much. This is how Dreamin' came to be. This is more just they are opposing legendaries. Whilst Dreamin' is meant to represent the scariness of the future, this design is meant to represent the calmness of the present and the beauty of the past. As scary as the future might be, you can't control it, and boom, you're living in the future already, and it's not actually that scary. It's not as bad as you thought. The future always looks scary, but that's because you've not found it yet. When you're actually in the present, most of the time it's not that bad, and before you know it, you're already looking back on it in the past. No matter how scary the future is, before you know it, it's became your present and past, and it can't hurt you in the past, it's already happened. And although that's not exactly bound to the channel itself, I feel like that's just a good core message to have in general, right? This design is somewhat inspired as well by Fake, being another character what appears on this channel. Fake is very mysterious, and that made sense to kind of compare that with a Mythical. Mythicals also being quite mysterious creatures. Along with a little bit of Verimon, again, because what even is Verimon meant to be? I also wanted to go microorganism, and that's to reference a future what will never happen. The original idea was that after Tetramon, I would go into making an original Pikmin series, so instead of Fakemon, it would have been Fake Pikmin. The main gimmick being Pikmin based on microorganism. I was going to call it Mini-Min. I'll kind of touch on the future of the channel after this design, however, I'm not going to be making that anymore. However, I already drew it at that point, so might as well finish it. Plus, again, it still works in the theming, right? Because the past is, we are all from cells, and this is that. I imagine that its tentacle arms are made out of stem cells. It can find creatures and it can drip some of its cells onto the creature's wounds and help them heal. Again, as scary as the future might appear to you, once it's in the past, you can allow yourself to heal, just like this little guy. Plus, it also does represent a little bit of the future, because not all the time the future is scary. In universe, Dreamin' is meant to be like oh no, the science has gotten too much, we've found multiverse travel and we found this evil creature what's going to destroy the world. That's a bad future. However, in this future, science research and microbiology and biotech and things are getting better every day, and we're saving so many more people thanks to science research done in this modern day, our future. This is Psydrawn, its name being from cytoplasm, the plasm found in cells. Dawn, because, you know, the beginning of a new day, the good future. Drawn, because that's the past of all the things I do, I draw them. And although it wasn't intentional, Seidel is kind of in that name, which is kind of funny because although it's inspired by Fake, it also kind of looks like me. Probably because I also look like Fake. I hope you like this little guy, and, well, I hope you like all the designs in this video, and I hope you liked all the designs from all of these videos. I've really enjoyed going through the history of this channel and really reflecting and looking back at how many things have changed. Realistically, I understand that I'm probably one of the only people who really cares about that. You know, it's sentimental to me. At the very least though, I hope you like the designs, what came out of it. Knowing the numbers my channel gets, this probably won't be made into a game, at least for a while. So there's probably going to be a lot of changes and adaptations to these designs by the time it gets made into a game, so if you have any feedback or anything you want to see in that, feel free to let me know. I believe at the time of releasing this, I got the dates wrong last video, but today should be Christmas Eve. So if you're watching this and you celebrate the holidays, have a great time. If you don't celebrate the holidays, have a great day off, assuming you have one. However, I don't want to end the video just yet. I want to tell you some things I've been thinking about and perhaps discuss the future of this channel. This is actually the 5th time me recording it because I keep not saying the exact things I want to say, and I think the biggest problem is I'm talking to you through Seidel, this blue guy. So I think I'm just going to record as me, the actual person who makes these videos. Hi, how you doing? This is weird. Okay, make that a 6th time recording, because I just recorded it all and I realised I rambled for like 3 minutes but didn't say anything. I don't know why I'm struggling to word it. I'm just going to say it. I'm not a fan of how this channel currently is. I want it to be better. I mentioned earlier that I'm making all of these designs based off of all my previous videos, and I mentioned that realistically, not including myself, I can only really think of one person who's actually watched all of those videos. One person out of like 540 subscribers I've got currently? That's a pretty low percentage, and it's pretty obvious to see why. I've got a lot of varied videos on this channel. Like I said, I've got a short, kind of creepy horror movie. I've got a video what is just a borderline horror video. I've got some random Let's Plays thrown in there, random speed draws, sometimes they're Seidelmon, sometimes they're Tetramon, sometimes they're Pikmin, sometimes they're Psyducks. The only thing that actually unifies them is the fact that no one really wants to watch them. Let me show you a personal thing I do every year. This is Badly Drawn December. This was my first Badly Drawn December. I've been doing it for 6 years now. You know those drawing challenges where you have a prompt and you draw something each day? I do that every December, except I draw my own personal characters every single day during the holidays. This year they're all a little advent calendar. Again, I'll show you the drawings. I wouldn't say they're perfect drawings, however, I love that I can look through each year and visibly see how I'm getting better and better each year I draw these characters. In fact, last year, to celebrate the 5-year of doing it, I drew 101 characters over 101 days. And let me tell you, my arm is still recovering. My point being, I care about these characters a whole lot. If you make, original characters, I'm sure you appreciate them to some extent. And this year, again, I'm trying my absolute best to draw these as good as I can. I kind of realised, these drawings would literally take sometimes 12 hours out of my day to draw them, and I'm doing them one a day for the whole month. That's a lot of work going into just these OCs. And again, this was whilst I was making Tetramon, but I kind of had this realisation that not a lot of people, again, it sounds blunt, but for a lack of a better word, not a lot of people care about them. And hey, I'm not saying that to make anybody feel bad. If you don't care about them, that's not your fault. I've not given you a good enough reason to care about them. Which loops us back to the YouTube problem, that when I started this channel, one of the goals I had was to show the world these characters, my characters. And, well, again, it sounds a lot meaner than I'm actually intending it to be, but I would say I failed in that regard. And now whenever I finish Badly Drawn December, all I'm looking at is effectively a checklist of characters I've yet to make people really care about. And I almost feel like I've done not just these characters, but by extension myself, a huge disservice. If you know me personally, which again, only like 2 of you watching this will, but I have a huge, arguably unhealthy appreciation for fiction. I love just pretending that whatever isn't real might be. I feel like these videos haven't been representing me at all. All you're seeing is me sketching it and me showing you just at that, a .png, when I've dedicated a large portion of my life trying to create these stories and characters what are just a little bit more than just a drawing. So I'm just saying, I'm taking a little break from YouTube. Not a crazy break, you know, granted I normally take month-long breaks between series anyway. But here, I want to go for a bit and just, when I come back, I want to have a new series what not only unifies my different varied videos on this channel, shows Fakemon what realistically all of you are here for, and also shows my goal in showing you and making you care for these characters. I don't want you to just click on these videos because it says, you know, brand new Fakemon. I want you to click on it because, hey, you care about these videos. I want to tell little stories between these videos that you watching care about. I want you to be excited when the next video drops. I want you to care about characters what show up in these videos. I feel like I'm using the term "you don't care," and to some extent it sounds really negative, but I see it more as a challenge of, I want you to care. I want you to, and again, I'm saying it as a blunt, you know, I want you to actively invest in the stories I tell in these episodes, in the characters what appear in them, and also enjoy the Fakemon I'll show you in those videos. I want to do something, at least to my knowledge, never done before, entirely new, and something what I can safely say represents me, and hopefully you can all care about it. I want to celebrate my 5-year anniversary, happy that I can at least say I've tried to do something new. The reason I'm telling you all of this is just because, well, again, moving forward, I want to just let you all know that if you are watching this far, I appreciate it. And in fact, the fact that you've made it this far and you've not clicked off the second I stopped showing Tetramon shows that you already do care. And I can't put into words how much that means to me. But originally I wanted to say that over the 4 years, I actually don't have a lot to show for it, but that would just be a lie because I've got you guys to show for it. Heck, I even made Tetramon based off some of you guys. So I wanted to thank you for sticking around with me this long, and hopefully in the new year I can make videos what make you even happier that you did invest your time onto this channel. And hey, whilst you're here, because again, you clearly care the most, your input probably means the most as well. If you have any feedback for the way I make videos or anything you want to see in the new series of videos next year, again, the fact that you're here clearly means that you care. You know, I want to make these videos as best as they can be, not just in general, but for you guys watching. There's a few more things I could ramble on about. Again, moving forward, it's going to be Seidel talking, not, you know, literally me, so I kind of wanted to get everything off my chest, but realistically, I feel like I've said everything that needs to be said. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the new year. I hope you all have a grand old holiday time, and hopefully I'll see you all again really soon with a whole new series, what, well, hopefully will just be better. Toodaloo.